Hey y'all, how's everybody doing? Good. Thank you for joining us for Cyphering While Black, facing the music, confronting the culture. My name is Zuri. I'm the co-founder of Decipher, Black Notes on Culture and Criticism, with criticism crossed out. Yeah, and I'm just excited to have y'all here today. I'm excited to have my guests here today, my friends. So could you just introduce yourself and then we can...
My name is JAH-MONTE.
I'm Pleasant Sherman.
I'm Mike. I go by Mike Digi. I'm a producer out of Charlotte.
Cool. So I guess like tell us about Jewelry Rap. How did you meet? And kind of, yeah, just tell us about it.
Jewelry Rap is a hip hop collective out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I met Pleasant Sherman like online. I put out that I wanted to expand the collective, and this guy named Big Flowers was like, "Yo, you should check out this guy." And he sent me his music, and I was like, "Perfect." And he's from Charlotte. I was like, "Yo, that's a plus." His music was good. Digi, a friend of mine I worked with, who was a producer, told me that he met Mike Digi, and he showed interest in working with me, and we met up. We just started working together. Like, we had good chemistry. Same thing was in. When we met up, we had good chemistry. And we actually hung out first. Or I think we got right to music, but we hung out a little, got to know each other.
Yeah, it was like the same day we had like it was the first time meeting, and then later that day we made a song. Okay. Yeah, it was straight to work. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. And what year was that?
20.
No, 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2020.
2020, yeah.
2021,
Okay.
something
So like during
that.
the pandemic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Pandemic, everything was going
Crazy
online.
That's the only thing we could do was
connecting
make
all the
music.
dots.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. So so the format of today is we're going to be just in conversation, and then we're going to kind of cut to some music, come back, talk about it, and all of that. So the first song we have is Niggas is Washed Up and Doing Bad, Part 1.
Okay. Let's go.
Hey, but not him though.
Is this Dark Master directed this?
Yeah. This was like a on-spot video. I was like, bro, I've been holding this song for a while. We should go uptown Charlotte and do a video like, I think by Bank of America Stadium.
Let's get into it.
I think right here I was playing with my hair. I was like, yo, you gotta get me right. Like, I need my hair to look good in the video. I want to look as good as possible.
Can we turn it up?
And we met up for wine also. I like that scene, me in the hall, like, I like the sweater. We thought those lights looked cool for that scene, so that's why we bought the lights. Fun night.
Yeah.
Cold.
It was a cool night.
I see you was in your like pretty nigga bad with the lights.
Yeah, I was trying to.
Yeah.
He captured me good.
Yeah. So yeah, just like tell us more about. You were like kind of talking through, but like tell us more about the.
Oh, okay. So that record, the story behind that record is when Mike and Liv came to
Carborough.
Carborough, North Carolina. We went to that show and we saw them perform, and we met up with Mavi, and I was just talking to Mavi. He was asking me how did I feel about being a Charlotte artist and stuff like that. So it was just a powerful night. And we actually stayed in Carlsbad that night. We went to the studio. My friend hooked me up with a producer that made that loop. We went to a studio. He just played through some records, and we made that. I didn't really make it with like no intention, really. Like there's no story behind the lyrics. I just kind of like put some things together. It was really just the energy and the spirit of the day and of the night. I was just like, man, I just feel very inspired. And yeah, we made that record and we held it for a while. And I just felt like it was time to put it out, and we made the video. Yeah. I told my friend, Dark Master, who made the video, that we should just go uptown Charlotte and just like capture the city and put it together and get some drinks. Yeah. I was like, yo, we should get together, get some wine. I'm like, yo, if we get the wine scene, everything else is gonna come together. And I felt like it came together a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, got the point across, definitely.
Yeah, no, I think the energy definitely comes through. I remember I was over Christmas break, I was like up in university. Yes. It was my first time back in Charlotte in like 3 years. Yes. And I had that song on repeat for like 2 hours straight.
This song?
This song right here.
This song right here
for 2 hours straight, just walking through my brother's neighborhood.
I was wondering, because I seen the streams kind of. What were you listening to on?
Spotify.
Okay, because the streams for that went up, and I was like, all right.
It was me.
I was like, who's listening to this song? So that's fire. Okay.
So like one thing that we're thinking about for Decipher this year is like I said, like when we were like talking offline is what you do with your songs, how you like give us like commentary and like give us like what you were thinking of. I don't know. Do you write those?
Do I write the lyrics?
No, not the lyrics. The
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Someone else write those?
Somebody in the UK does.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, like I like that. It's kind of giving us like a frame to like kind of think about the songs and everything. Yes. And that's something that we're trying to think about for the journal this year. Okay. Is really how to like really engage with like Black art, like really engage with it in a way that, because so much of Black art relies on cultural criticism and like cultural critics in order to actually like be seen, and which is unfortunate. But and so we're trying to think about how do we write about Black art in a way that doesn't just say what it means, but really like thinks about like what it does, and like all that stuff. So I think the first question along those lines is when you're making music, kind of what do you see your music to be like doing in the world? In a past interview, you said you're trying to like move away. JAH-MONTE, you said you're trying to move away from like proselytizing people. Yes. And so, yeah, just like talk about kind of what is your goal for, you said in this one you didn't necessarily have an intention, but like generally what's your goal for your music, like when you're making it?
My music, like in the past, used to be a real like learn, teach process. Like coming into the conscious community, like the spiritual awakening time. I had a friend who pretty much just brought me into like knowledge of self and everything like that. He was like, I was just rapping regularly, just like about random stuff. And he's like, yo, you should be rapping about this. Like Black people did this, Black people's doing this, but like a lot of our history. And just for a while, like that was my style. Like if you go to more of my older things, some people call it conscious rap, but I decided to step from that. Just like a tad. Sometimes I still like drop jewels or gems into my lyrics, but I just stepped back from that a little, and my music kind of picked up more. But that was something I was telling them about. It's just like how people kind of like lean into negativity. I feel like I'm getting off the question. My bad, but in the past it was just more positive. But I felt it was more preachy. Like every time I would perform, it's like people would be like, they treat you like Tariq Sharif they would treat me like Sharif, like, you know what I mean? Like, my brother, like, and regular talks, like, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to step back from that and really wanted to be heard. But I was telling them I battle with that because I feel like right now with my music it's picking up, but I'm not really putting like that thought-provoking stuff into my music anymore.
Is that something you think you want to?
Yeah, I got to come back home.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I feel like I have an audience now. I have a bigger audience. And yeah, just need to tell them, them some more stuff.
Yeah. Could we, like for you two as well, like what are you thinking about, or what do you see your work to be doing like before you start a song?
So for me, whenever I'm trying to produce a song, a lot of the times I'm thinking about what other experiences I've had to contribute to that song. And the end goal for my kind of songs and my music is for people to be able to experience something with it. I think music is a language, and sometimes we have words and phrases for things that we have been through. And like in other languages, there are some concepts and some phrases that other languages don't have. And music is kind of in that same boat where there's some things that we may all be able to recognize, but expressing that in a way is going to be different for everyone. And so for me, music is a way to get some of those experiences across, hopefully for other people to either resonate with, or whenever they have that same experience with life or something else, they can then identify that back to the music, and it adds to that.
Certainly, yeah. Kind of going off that, like, I mean, when I make something, it's just like about, captivating that raw emotion that I have when I'm creating it and putting it out into the world, and hopefully people identify with that emotion. And that emotion can be whatever. It can be angry, it can be more thoughtful, eclectic, but just kind of like raw expression in a way, and putting it out there into the world, and hopefully people mess with it.
Yeah. No, it sounds like, so one thing, it sounds very vulnerable to like,
Oh, certainly.
Yeah. And
Exhausting.
so, you said what?
Exhausting.
Exhausting, right. That's why I don't be making music like that. 'Cause I'm like, y'all got that. But, and so I'm thinking about like, again, going back to like the role of like critics and the way that it's like their job is to, or they think their job is to like come in and like tell what's like right or wrong about a song. That's like, is that even like the metric that should be used when thinking about like, this is an emotion that you're trying to like get across, So I guess like thinking about kind of how you view yourself, like making your music, like how would you like it to be engaged in response to that?
That's a good question. Personally, like, I think in an underground rap scene that we kind of operate in, the fact of like community is something that I truly like to see. Like when you put music out there, you want to be, if I release an album and, I have a vinyl release party, you want to see that like physical community there.
Yeah.
Like you release music and people actually mess with it. Like they're buying out your vinyls or your physical merch. I think like the physical community is something that I yearn for in music, certainly. And I mean, in Charlotte, there's not as much of that. That's why we're constantly having to take trips to either New York or the Northeast to get that community. But looking something of like a physical community, certainly.
Yeah, I think adding on to community and going back to what I said about experiences, ideally I would love for people to talk about music in terms of like, this is where I was at when I listened to this,
right?
Or this is what this song makes me think
Invoking
of.
memories,
right?
Yeah.
And I think that is clearer than sometimes criticism, because things are so subjective, right? And so to label an emotion or to label a song really limits the person's ability to enjoy it, and I think other people's too, because now we're going into a song maybe expecting something, and that can guide our own thoughts unconsciously sometimes. So I think that would be ideal for me.
Yeah.
In a lot of criticism in music, reviews, anything, there's a lot of like comparison, which I think is like kind of
The worst thing.
It's like
Yeah,
comparison is truly like the thief of joy. I mean, I do it all the time. Like I'm a competitive person. You compare your music to other people's, people that are doing it, people that are popping, but that's not what music is about. It's about that raw creation and putting it out there and being unique.
Right.
I think it's a lot. It's a lot with me. Like how I want to be perceived with my music, or how I want my music to be taken. I just want people to understand where I'm coming from, and to just enjoy it. Really, just don't pick it apart that much. But just to add on to what he said with the community, I just like to release my music and just to go out and do the shows and do the pop-ups and the meet and greets and talk to the fans. Just that sense of love and community. But I battle with press a lot because I feel like I'm on like a clock with my music.
Right.
Like I need the gratification now. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, certainly. You need your flowers now.
Yeah, I need my flowers now. So
Right.
things for me is just be like, it can't happen quick enough. It can't happen quick enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just want people to receive it because I work hard and I put a lot into it. So I just want it to be received well.
For a long time too, you know.
And I battle with press. Did I say that? I battle with press. Like I just want it to be picked up.
Yeah.
So that just like messes with my head a lot.
Yeah. I see that in some of the like names for your songs.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned. Call them out. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So is that mentioning like the community and like the physical community, is that related to why y'all stress releasing like physical copies of your music? Is that related?
Okay. It's a huge part of it. I think, and it's almost like a trophy to, at least for me, right? Like being able to gather people that can all put their hands on this one project and then to have something that's a physical replication of that. One, makes me feel accomplished. And I think as an artist and as an independent artist, that's probably what we strive for the most, is feeling accomplished and feeling like the work that we've put into whatever we want other people to see is well received.
Yeah.
And so even if a physical copy doesn't sell as well, there's still gratification from knowing that a bunch of people took it seriously,
right.
And there's something to show for it. And,
right.
And I think that, especially because I don't live in Charlotte anymore, I'm living in Raleigh, so that kind of community looks different for me, and so being able to have that physical object helps kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into the next song.
Is it one of their songs or mine?
No, it's not. It's
okay.
Zen song.
It's all you. You just started the show.
So this one is Refreshing Justice off of his album Heirlooms. You have anything you want to say about it?
So I wrote that, or not wrote. I don't know, right? I'm a producer. So I produced that about a year ago, actually. And during that time, I had tracks that when I was first starting out, I had gone under the alias Tetsuo Punk, and I'd done some releases online that were just kind of lost in the archives. And so I went back and cleaned up some of those tracks and added a couple of new tracks. And I wanted something that felt familiar, but still felt like a point of growth. And so I selected songs that really spoke to me at the time that I was recording them, because they were like 15, 16-minute just like loop tapes of just like continuous stuff. And they didn't have as much of a structure as I wanted to at the time that I was recording the new, recording Heirlooms. So being able to pick out those specific songs that really stuck to me almost made me feel more empowered, because it had been, I think, a year or two since I had written those tracks, and they still sounded just as good as I recorded them at the time. And so I wanted to kind of present that in a more professional way, and so that's why I came up with the Heirlooms EP.
Cool.
I like the cover too. The cover is fire.
Thank you. I got a great guy, Four Wheel, does some really awesome art, and he's such a great guy. And I originally had the album art for it for physicals that I was going to do for a release that I did with my friend Clay out in California, but life got in the way, and so it was almost like a reclamation of that lost project and my old stuff to again bridge the gap, transition into something else that I was a little more focused on.
You made this on the SP?
Yeah, love the SB44. It's a magical little box. It's so amazing.
Turn it up a little bit.
she like God Connect shit. Like,
Man.
video over it.
I love the polyrhythm. I think it's polyrhythms. I don't really know much like musical terms, but the melody kind of follows its own path, and I love the percussion, and I love the beat or the bass and everything else that feels like a foundation. But the melody really gets to go wherever it wants.
No, that's fire.
Thank you. Yeah, that song, there's something haunting about that loop. And for me, whenever I'm making music, so I sample only, right? So I do a lot of loops. And for me, the music creation process, I try my best not to keep track of which songs I'm sampling. And I do this intentionally because the loops that I create and the music that I make hopefully is a roadmap to me as an artist. And I feel like even listening to my own music, and as an artist, I feel like we are our own critics, right, and our own supporters. So I wanted to make something that I could listen to forever. And I didn't want the process of making such a timeless song I just didn't want that. I wanted that song to take me back to where I was when I was creating it, and that feeling that I had when I was creating it. And I felt like having a step-by-step way would take away from the intuitiveness of making that song. For me as a producer, if I can't make a song simply, then I'll wait until I can. You know, there's weeks where I won't. There's weeks where I'll try to make a song and it's just not clicking like that. And if it's not something that I can knock out effortlessly, then it's not worth it. I want my music to be simple. This loop was something that was very simple to me. I mean, it might be like 3 or 4 seconds of a certain song, but the memory that it holds in my mind was more prevalent than anything else that I wanted to convey. And again, like with experiences, this song I have played in many different situations, and it still makes me feel the same way as when I first made it. And I think that, I mean, as an artist, a song like that, you gotta, you know, package it up. You gotta put it on the album. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta share it with other people, because if it can speak to me that strongly, hopefully it can speak to other people that strongly.
Yeah. I've told you this. I texted you this the other day. Like, this song, again, like, it'll be out after a long day. I'm coming home. I'm throwing this on for like an hour, like literally an hour straight. Like, yeah, it's something that like I said, I wrote something about it. Just trying to think about this, like, deciphering method, and trying to think about moving beyond, just like kind of saying what it means, but like what it does and like what it like incites, for me. So I'm just going to read it. And then we can talk about that after. And again, like kind of engage with like what, kind of what you like, don't like, what is the criticism doing? So yeah. So in hopefully I can read, because last night I had an event I could not read. So in Refreshing Justice, Pleasant Sherman plays with time, collaging 2 seemingly disparate loops. I actually thought it was 2 different songs.
It's one song.
That's crazy.
It's one
Okay.
song.
So not 2 seemingly disparate loops. We're acclimated to this sonic climate with keys that subtly fade in. It's like we're being introduced to a mutual friend standing idle in the corner of a house party instead of announcing themselves at the door. In fact, the track even stutters over itself before settling on a pace that will carry our ear along its journey. Coming in under 2 minutes in its entirety, the song is a peek into a scene that is equally frantic and reflective. These melancholic keys which ground the song rise as if to offer an opening to breathe before quickly being clamped down. They transcend and descend, creating a curious repetition that mirrors Black culture and politics. The abolition of slavery, breath, then convict leasing. Integration in the long Black Power era, breath, then the war on drugs. The election of Barack Obama, appearance of breath, Trump. The 2020 uprisings, the demand for abolition, breath, then the national increase in police budgets. These songs' keys are the long durée, the changing same, the background noise blanketing blackness. Later top them are what sounds like sirens stitching their way into the noise. It's not clear what they signify. Maybe they're the sound of the first responders leaving North Lake Mall after a shooting spree on your second day back home for Christmas break, a reminder of the colonial violence that turns inward in these heightened moments of city plan displacement of niggas for the sake of development. The sirens could also be the ambulances that carried away the brown bodies of 3 workers crushed by scaffolding at a construction site in the 700 block of East Moorhead, one of the dozens of sites like it in Uptown Charlotte, again, in the 3-week period you were home. Or maybe these are the horns you're gonna take into your little sister's first basketball game or dance recital, a future worth looking forward to. All are equally plausible, though one is dramatically more enjoyable. Refreshing Justice captures this feeling of ambivalence, the collaging of fragments of inseparable and contradictory sensations. Jared Sexton writes, quote, "Who knows what to do with their damnation? Rise above it, wallow in it, or pay it no mind. All transcendent sense-making, all so many attempts to take control, all transcendent sense-making, all so many attempts to take control," end quote. As justice is refreshed, which one will you get lost in? The potential despairs and joys of the immediate, or the historical melancholia of Black subjugation, or both? Maybe we'll do ourselves a favor when we pose the question standing idle in the corner begging to be acknowledged. And so that's like what I
First of all, that was beautiful. God bless. Thank you. That was
We're using you from now on, bro.
damn.
Yeah, like I said, like when I texted you, I was just like, fuck. Like, and I think that for me, that's what like, sorry, I'm here struggling. Get myself together real quick. Okay. And I think that's what like good music does is it's like, it makes you like, just like collapse.
I mean,
you know?
it takes you to another place, and I'm sure you've heard this before, right? Where you listen to a great song and, you know, you get lost in that song. Loops, for me, were a challenge of finding very specific elements that I really enjoyed and honing in on those elements themselves more so than a specific melody. For this loop in particular, I was lucky enough that these elements created a great melody, but it created it in a way that made me feel like the song is almost trying to run faster than itself. There's this sense of urgency from this loop, but the foundation of the piano, the bum, 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 and all these things work together. And for me, I was able to pinpoint how each of those certain aspects of that loop really spoke out to me. And looping it for a minute and a half or 2 minutes on paper seems very simple, but again, each time that I listen to it, I feel the complexities, and I feel where my mind was at when I was creating it at that time. It's one of my favorite songs that I've made, and I think as a producer specifically, there's a lot of things that can add to our own enjoyment of a song. So I wanted that song on this rose-covered album specifically because I was able to recognize the beauty and the horror and the space and time of that song. And it sounds jumbled, but that's what I like about it, right? Like that's the fun, is having to think about what this song means to me every time. And so playing this song, I'm forced to almost sit with myself and figure out what do I like about this song? Where do I want to go next? And that's what I want with my music, where it feels like it's an open invitation, not only for myself, but for anyone else to think about why they like it, to think about maybe, this part today, I'm really liking the melody, or I digress, but it's complex. And for a loop to be so simple and for me to feel such emotional things means I've done a good job to myself.
Cool. Thank you. So we're gonna get into the next song.
Nice salute, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that, man.
I didn't know it meant that much to you like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, at the time, I was I came out with my debut album in July of 2021. This came out in February 2022, and I knew I wanted to put something out, but I don't know if anybody else has put out like a debut album, but it's a lot of work. It's very exhausting, and so I was trying to give myself patience and give myself time to be proud of what I've accomplished. But I mean, as independent artists, we're trying to get stuff done because we're so passionate. Yeah. We want to put stuff out. And so again, that was a good in between point for me.
Yeah. And to that last thing about it, like for me, is that when you were saying that you are constantly like finding new things, like I've again had listened to this song so many times, and I listened to it again last week, and I was like, I like found a new, like somehow found a new layer like in the song. And I was just like, and again, it's so simple, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
And that's the point, right? Like, I don't know. Right. And sometimes that's okay. Cool. And and I think especially as Black artists, we have this pressure to make music that makes sense. And I don't know. Jay Dilla was a Black dude and he made music and that was it. Like, and so I try not to get too caught up in, I try not to get too caught up, you know? I keep it simple. If I can hear something complex, then I try to mimic it. And if it's too hard for me, then it wasn't supposed to work out. That's all right.
Cool. All right, so let's get into Embarrassment of Riches by JAH-MONTE. Oh, do you want to say anything about this one before we get into it?
Man.
Hey, talk your talk. Come on, bro. What's up? Hey, what's up?
Nah, just play the video. Embarrassment of Riches. Another one, I was like, my homie had a hotel uptown Charlotte. I was like, yo, let's shoot a video. We're in a hotel. So I'm like, how can we utilize this hotel? It's like, we have the eating area.
Yeah.
We have the balcony.
Yeah.
And we have in front of the hotel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Shot
like
by
this
Bluetooth
song,
graphics.
but I also deleted this song off streaming, Spotify. I like this song. It's okay.
Okay. I mean, I like the song.
Yeah. I'm back and forth with it.
Okay.
The video is shot well though.
The video is very well
is
done.
shot well.
Very
Yes,
We're gonna have
yes.
Ubuntu.
Bluetooth graphics, yeah.
Okay.
Out of Charlotte, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're in front of the NASCAR
Oh yeah.
Hall of
yeah.
Fame in Charlotte too.
Yeah.
So it looks well.
Yeah. No, it's a good video.
Yes, yes.
As you all will see.
Another high CLT exclusive. Shout out to my nigga Phils. Shout out to my nigga JAH-MONTE. Y'all still not bad ready?
I guess this just the embarrassment of riches. You wanna be a star, Sharp told me to just come with it. I said if you come and do, girl, just come with it.
I like this scene.
I admit it.
Is Gans in the stairs? Gans. Shouts out to the homie Gans.
I like the balcony scene too.
Yeah, them pieces on.
Yeah, Nautica went
Come
crazy.
on.
Just one.
What? That
scene was fire too.
They say I came a long way, but they ain't drive through it. She told me if you think I'm sexy, tell me Rod Stewart. Think you wanna run up on me?
That scene.
Just not for likes on Instagram, and it's really how we moving. Results vary when you mailing them bags. Me and Derry and the skeleton stab, hop on a path to Jersey. I can sign with a major, but all those crackers worthy. Cause we can do it independent, just like Uncle Percy. Say she want a break and I'ma get it for her. We can have whatever you like, T.I. keep them spoiled. With this American luxury, she love me and lust for me in the city that fuck with me. I guess this just the embarrassment of riches. You wanna be a star, Sharp told me to just come with it. I said if you come and do, girl.
So yeah, that's pretty much, you know, what we were doing with this one, you know. It's just utilizing the space.
Yeah.
I said if you come and do, girl, just come with it. She came with it, I admit it. Bring it back. I was presented for the percentage. Took the executive.
I'll stop right there because I think that one of the lines. So again, I don't know why you took it off because
I think I know why you like this, because some of the lines just like, yeah, crackers can't own this. I'm seeing what you like. Okay, yeah, I got those lines. Yeah.
Not you figure me out. That's crazy.
Yeah, okay.
It only took 50 minutes. Wow. Damn.
Yes.
But yeah, no. So yeah. But like also like the lines about like remaining independent,
Yes.
I think are important.
Yes.
And then I also just again with the shot being with you shooting it in downtown Charlotte again where it's like, you know,
like corporate.
very corporate. I thought that was like important, and I just wanted to like I think it gets us into like thinking about where do y'all view yourselves in the kind of like give us the layout of what is it like being artists in North Carolina, and kind of like talk to us about the scene and navigating the scene, because like I've heard things, but like I haven't been able to fully put it all together. So
I feel we all have different like perspectives and stories of like how we are as because we're a collective, but we're also solo artists ourselves. So we all have like our different paths. I feel like in North Carolina, as far as Charlotte, North Carolina, for the longest, I felt like I wasn't being heard, but people hear now because of, I guess, like the work that I've done. So I feel like we're in a good spot as far as North Carolina rap. I feel like people's understanding what we're doing, what we're trying to do, and it's because we travel a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like a perception thing. People see us in DC or they see us somewhere, and it just makes them appreciate us more because we're not home. So I think we're in a good place as far as North Carolina rap. But the venues in our hometown, but we don't own anything though. So that's the thing though, for real. Like we still gotta like pitch things to these venues. Like I try to tell them like there's certain rappers that you should bring that you might not know about because it's a rock and roll venue. So certain things like that. It's just like trying to get shows and trying to really do like black. It's like we trying to bring a black space to a white space.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jaded with venues in Charlotte. I mean, I feel like he's being polite, but but because you still have to work with these people, right? But like there was, I'll just bring up an example. Like there's a rapper from Charlotte. His name's Luke. He signed to J. Cole. He signed to Dreamville. Yeah. And I believe he was having a show, and Boldy James. He was opening for Boldy James. Very important show, you know. And there's this place. I'm not going to name it, but Luke was trying to get in, and they're like, "Oh no, you can't. You got to like." They're like trying to charge my boy at the door, like he ain't who he is. And I mean, that you got to pay $20 at the door. I get it, but it just kind of illustrates like the not tapped inness or like the kind of lack of care that venues have for any type of artistic scene in Charlotte. It's certainly there. There's a ton of talented people, but I feel like the capital or venues or the structure of the city doesn't really allow or doesn't allow for artists to truly have a space to express themselves. Yeah.
I mean, I think for me, when I think about North Carolina music, there's a lot of really talented people, right?
A lot, yeah.
For a long time.
For a long time, yeah.
All the way back to like Nina Simone.
John Roberta Flack, right?
Right.
Rapping, we got Ninth Wonder. We got a bunch of talent. We got a bunch of stuff.
Coltrane, right?
Yeah.
Bro,
P-Funk. Like
George Clinton,
right? Like it goes way back.
There's a lot of big names, right? And for us, I know for me, man, like wanting to make music, you can feel very intimidated because it's not like there's a legacy that you have to live up to per se, but when you tell people that you're from North Carolina, they're thinking about big names. And so, as an independent artist starting out, there was a time where you have to take yourself really seriously. And that's really hard to do when nobody else takes you seriously, right? So there's again, it's exhausting, right? You have so much talent, you have what it takes, but there's just natural obstacles in the way. And a big challenge of being an artist is one, identifying those obstacles, two, either choosing to overcome them or to work with them. And then three, still being able to tell yourself that you did the right thing at the end of the day.
Right.
There's a lot more work that goes into it than just like saving up to reach out to somebody, right? There's communication skills, there's how you perceive yourself. And there's just a lot more nuances that go into making sure that you can communicate your value to other people the way that you want to.
And in North Carolina, I think the artistic community is just a little bit smaller. So what he's saying, there's just, smaller circles for us to have conversations like this,
And then it's also like Charlotte is huge. I mean, you can drive like 40 minutes and still be in Charlotte, and that naturally just creates, I guess we'll call them not necessarily cohorts, but just sections. There's different parts of Charlotte. Like I know for me, if someone tells me they're from like Matthews, I'm like, that's not Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not.
Yeah.
I'm from Mint Hill. I'm all right.
Yeah.
It's a different type of. It's different. It's just, So I think that plays a factor too.
Yeah. Were you? Oh, I thought you were about to say.
Man, nah. Hey, they played me on the radio sometime in North Carolina.
Okay.
So, hey, I think we're
You
doing
love
kind
North
of.
Carolina.
We just got to get their beats on the radio. So when they just playing the beats, then that's how you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think like related to that is like how are you all like measuring your growth? Like how are you like remaining independent in a space that is like difficult to navigate in like some of these ways that you've like described? Like how do you measure your growth and while remaining independent?
Well,
Good question.
I don't want to speak for him, but like the growth is like in the numbers sometimes.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, you know, like that's how it looks, but how do we like want it to be perceived? I think it's like you're always innovating musically. We're always trying to get better musically, but I think reaching more audiences, different audiences, and
Right.
I think that's like the next step. Mastering certain, you know, subsects or audiences, but now I see, you know, I'm just speaking for him now, but now I see him like moving on and trying to conquer other domains of rap. So yeah, you can see the success in the streams,
Yeah.
but also it's like, all right, how can we branch out here?
Right.
That's something I honestly like follow his lead on a lot of the times, like, you know, but yeah.
I think as producers and artists and rappers and just as a collective, we have challenges of measuring that growth. Sometimes, I mean, the music industry is one really tough, and being an independent artist, there are a lot of resources that you put in, and sometimes there's not a lot of results, and sometimes it can feel like you want to slow down because it's not worth it to speed up. But I found that being able to have
So
the knowledge-
poetic.
I'm not a poet.
I mean, as an artist, right?
I think being able to look back at something that I considered a mistake in my earlier music, maybe not a mistake, but something that I wish I would have done differently, and seeing if I want to change that with my new music, or being able to just recognize that this was something that maybe I would have done differently, is kind of what I look to. Same thing with physical media, putting something to paper and executing an idea that takes 5, 6, 7 months is a really nice release, and is a good way for me to feel like I'm still doing work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of the same for me. It's just like if 1 year it's very like 10,000 streams, I try to just double it.
Okay.
And I guess that's kind of like how I measure my stuff. Just try to do better the next year. And I also took the question another way. But I thought you meant like, how do you measure your growth? Like as in, is it a financial thing? Is it something like that?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do battle with, like, I might get a bigger check and it's just be like, oh, okay, like I'm on the right path, or I get put on an Afro punk playlist, so I'm just like, okay, like things like that. But things like that shouldn't make me that happy. But sometimes it's like things like that. I'm like, all right, it's a validation that I'm on the right path.
Yeah, because I guess with that validation, it's like it's not just like your feelings. Like it's like that's new money that can come in as well, like new exposure. So it's like that's real. So like,
I think I struggle with validation a lot.
I think all artists do, like, because you know, you get a blue check that follows you on Instagram, and you're like, oh. I think
did it.
I'm
good.
We're all, I mean, as humans, certainly as artists who express ourselves, we want validation.
Right.
We're putting ourselves out there. We want people to like it. So I think we're all victims of this thing, social media, wanting attention. So I think no artist is exempt from that.
Right. Yeah. All right. So let's get into next song. It's from JAH-MONTE, produced by Mike.
What's it called?
Sorry, my thing's coming up. Where Are You?
It's the video.
It's a video.
I like this video. I like this video a lot. It's probably one of my favorite videos.
I was like the production assistant on this video, by the way. I held Ubuntu's backpack.
I like the video a lot. He got what I wanted to do. I'm like, yo, we need to be in Times Square, and I need to look like a star. He's like, yo, you need some jewelry or something. And I'm like, nah, like I just need the camera to be clear. I need it to look like a movie. No, when I made this video, people thought I was up. Yeah, niggas was like, oh, it's like that now.
You were glowing, low key.
Yeah, huh?
You were glowing in it.
Oh,
You were glowing.
yeah, I appreciate it. People thought this lady was modeling in it, but she was just taking pictures. Smoking weed out there.
Digi held that shit down.
Can you see her? Can you see her? It's like she's like in the corner.
Very beautiful lady.
The slow mo on this is crazy.
Had the retwist.
Come on. Come on. I was like, I need you to get me right with my hair.
Right.
Good Northie, like, come on. Get out of here. Where's the motto though? I might need you to rewind it.
Where is that?
I was being funny.
I want to see it.
Okay.
This was a nice part. Washington Square Park.
Yeah.
It was like an Indian festival or something going on out there. It's a nice video.
Yeah. This is hard.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Nah, you gotta search up the missing link for one of them.
The what?
The navy blue one, missing link. But I don't know if that's my bad. I don't know if I was talking that talk. What? This is how all my videos look.
Yeah. No, that was
feel
a really
Cold.
I feel like where we stand at. I guess that's downtown Providence. It kind of looks like that. It's not light.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nah. The financial district, whatever, like wherever we at by the financial district, it kind of like I could like fake get that off. Like 30% of that I could get in the financial district.
Yeah. No, I think that like, so as someone, so I don't know, something I've been thinking about is like, what do niggas from North Carolina love about New York, especially niggas from Charlotte? Like,
This man.
I think everybody's trying to get the shit. Really?
Yeah, I think niggas in
I
Charlotte.
think I have feelings about when they come to North Carolina sometimes.
Yeah,
They're like, I'm from New York.
but that's why they hate NY people.
But yeah, but like, tell us about, because I mean, obviously for like music material, or like music purposes, like you go to New York.
I make quote unquote boom bap. People call my music boom bap or conscious rap, so
Okay.
it's accepted more in New York.
Right.
Okay.
So rather in Charlotte, Charlotte's a melting pot. You know, the baby's from Charlotte. You know what kind of sound he has. Who else can we have from Charlotte?
Mavi,
Lou.
But on like a different sound, like Fetty P.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like 808s.
Yeah.
So with my kind of, I had it kind of hard. Like I used to do a lot of open mics, and I'm the only guy who sound like how I sound.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever. People be like, oh, you make that Tribe Called Quest sound and stuff. That's what people used to always tell me,
Yeah.
or something in that.
You be
vein.
rapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something in that vein. So it's just easier for me to go to New York and just like fit in.
Yeah.
You know, some people.
Do you think there's a pressure to make a quote unquote Southern sound? Or like, do you think there's a North Carolina?
I be feeling it.
He really feels like he has to make like a down south North Carolina sound. He like, no, it got to be Southern North Carolina. I'm just like, okay, I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like North Carolina's a melting pot.
It is. Yeah.
Everybody sound different.
Yeah. And that's what makes it.
Yeah.
North
Everybody
Carolina.
sound. I feel like North Carolina needs a look. But I honestly feel like it's the Jamlin Knife Wonder sound because they kind of like got it jumping.
You said who?
Jamlin Knife Wonder.
Knife Wonder?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is the North Carolina sound, I think. Yeah.
I guess like the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham area.
Right.
And that's why it's
But
kinda
going
heavy.
back, it's Little Brother. The first iteration of major success North Carolina had in hip hop was Ninth Wonder and that sound to me. And then of course
P.D. Pablo.
P.D. Pablo. I was gonna
My
say
boy P.D. Pablo
I think
turned it
those
up.
are the two worlds we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's either Ninth Wonder and more, whatever you want to call it, conscious boom bap, whatever. Or
What's
like
that one
P.D.
woman
Pablo trap.
who got the song Freaky T?
Freaky T.
Oh,
Look at
Corin.
me. Come me freaky. She's from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
My brother said he used to work with her brother at Abercrombie and Fitch at South Park. So,
we got those sounds, you feel me?
Yeah.
Like her stuff is like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He definitely feels like he got to keep it Southern. North Carolina got to be Southern hip hop.
Yeah.
I guess, but kind of like in the Dungeon Family way.
Right. Like Big Crit.
yeah.
Yeah. It don't matter to me. I'm just
Right.
like, I'm trying to keep it on the road. I'm trying to bring everything back to North Carolina. So
Yeah.
True.
I don't know.
I think there are a lot of New York transplants that have moved to Charlotte, though. Just to answer your question, I think that kind of adds to like why Charlotte wants to be a East Coast city so bad.
But I don't really see people in Charlotte who's just like rocking with New York like that.
Really?
It's always like,
I feel like everybody in Charlotte complains about New York.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what their problem
It's
is.
a nice city. You guys come down and visit us.
People down south just like that. Down south. No, we from down south.
Right. Yeah. you got to get out the state.
Territorial, yeah.
You got to go travel.
You gonna know somebody from down south. It's just like they keep that energy. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was born in Ohio, so sometimes I you know what I mean? Like I keep that in me, but I left early.
Yeah. I think like, so related to that pressure to maybe, or that you might not have to make a certain sound, like I have a question about like, what do you think of like music categorization? Like, what do you think of genres? Like, do you feel like you're beholden to like, I'm a hip hop artist, like I'm a rap artist, or like, is it just kind of like I make music and whatever you classify it as, or like, what is like your relationship to genres? Like something you aspire to, or is it just something that's there?
I feel like I started rapping first.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a love for music, but just like how I grew up, it was just rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like rapping, hip hop, oldies. But my mom had me at 19.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was listening to Outkast, Arrested Development, and stuff like that.
Right.
So it was just rap. Like I started rapping. I didn't start playing the instrument or anything first. It was just straight lyrics to hip hop.
Yeah.
So I don't think it has to stay that, but that was my introduction.
Okay.
Of course, I would like to get into different genres, like learn an instrument and get into jazz.
Yeah.
But I remember when Lil Wayne was going crazy. I was doing auto-tune, rock and roll and stuff too. So I don't know, like I didn't genre blend. So, but I started with rap though.
Yeah.
So I don't try to keep it rap, but that's my beginning.
Yeah.
So that's why hip hop is heavy on my stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's a tasteful way to blend genres, but it feels like, you said just I think people that try to separate themselves from hip hop,
Yeah.
most of the time
You had a good example.
it's a little disingenuous, and a lot of I see people use hip hop to get on and get famous.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
They jump off.
oh,
yeah.
I'm an artist now. Like I don't have to. I'm not that. That wasn't me.
Right.
And, like,
I'm not a rapper. I'm
an
an
obvious
artist.
example is Post Malone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
motherfucker,
MGK.
bro came in like with the rap song. Why, like what? And now he's got the tattoos and
Right.
To me, like I think like I have a serious gripe with that because it's like you just used it and then moved on.
Yeah.
It's like so you're not hip hop. You never really cared about hip hop. You never even. I mean, I'm sure they're validated by artists or whatever, but
Yeah.
they you know.
Yeah, I think 21 wrote one of his songs or something like that, or Joey
Right,
Badass.
and exactly. Like they have.
But it's always something like that. It's always a black guy that's like,
understand.
nah,
Yeah.
nah, you good, bro. we got you.
Literally, right? Literally, yeah,
It's always that.
yeah.
I think genres for me are like I think of them as tools. I think seeing them as tools helps me not limit myself.
I like that.
Right? But there's also times where people who are genuine approach me and describe my music as something that I'll be honest, like I don't like. I'm like, no, I'm not like that, bro. I don't make music like that. Like, they're like, yeah, man, you sound just. I'm like, I don't
Going
like
back
that.
to the comparison
I'm like, yeah, I don't
stand.
like that. But as artists, it's our job to. We can either choose to take that to heart, or we can try to use that as for what it is. Right? It's a compliment at the end of the day. So. Like adding on to like more of like our responsibilities as artists is figuring out how respect looks like for us and making sure that when we hear something, it's not gonna change how we see ourselves.
I think we're sample-based producers, so like technically, all we really are doing is genre bending.
Right.
He
use
says
genres
he
as
uses
tools.
different genres as tools.
Right.
One day I feel like sampling 90s R&B. One day I feel like sampling psychedelic rock. One day I feel like sampling jazz. So, I think maybe that's how I view music. It's all just one thing, and it's just how I feel, you know. But I think the musical landscape could benefit from not genrefying or categorizing so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think two things can be true, right? Like it's still hip hop and it's still hip hop culture, and there's also other things added into it. I think sometimes we see genres as like really exclusive,
Right.
and that's just a lot of work for me. And
Yeah.
it's easier to work with what I got in front of me,
Yeah.
and still be able to tell myself that this is what I want it to be.
Yeah. I feel like I was talking to Melaine. We're talking yesterday. Hey, Melaine. Were we talking about like how hip hop like is about like it's like anti-formalist. Like it's like it's not because it's like you were saying like from its beginning it's like you are literally taking from these other genres and like making it like, and not only that, you're also thinking about like that doesn't even include like being inspired by things like movies and things like you know all of that because all of you actually like bring in like samples from like literally like movies and like clips and like stuff like that. So it's like hip hop for me is like this collaging of all these different influences that come like it's just a collage, a sample board of like all these different influences that come together. So but yeah. What you about to say? Okay, so our next one is Oh Nah We Locked Boo, produced by Navy Blue.
The video or the
video,
performance?
The video. You like this video?
I don't really like Oh Nah.
I don't like this one either.
Because he put it in black and white.
Okay.
Can
the monochrome?
Is it
It's
something I'm
cold.
saying in this song that you relate to, or you like the video?
It is one of the ones that I talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we play another Navy Blue produced song, but keep the same question, or does that?
No, because it wouldn't. How about we play two songs and talk about both of them?
You can play this one.
Because I really do like this song.
I'm glad you do. I might just be in my head about it. I don't
maybe-
like the hook. I don't like the hook.
You wrote the hook, bro. What you talking about?
And the video in black and white.
You ever seen
World
Mad
versus
Max Fury
Critics.
Road in monochrome?
Play it.
It's good. I'm just telling you. Monochrome's cool. That's my reference.
I wish we would have spoke about the video.
Next time.
Nah, hold on. I feel like I violated on this song. Just play the first verse. Why do you like this? Like, I'm violating. Like, why do you want to play this?
It gets to my point. I think there's something interesting that you know, do. Like, I think that it's a moment to like think about. Hopefully it makes sense. We'll see. Come on, bro.
This guy.
You said I like that line.
We're gonna talk about it.
It's all right. See, y'all like this hook? Honestly, can y'all tell me though? All right. I don't know.
Saw you out on Central.
Humble, man. Come on, bro. Talk your shit, bro. Like, come on.
I need to take a break.
Fake humble. You know he like that. Come on.
You could have just played that part. That's the part.
But it's all together. That's the thing. Get at me.
Okay. Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Thank you. All right. That was torture.
I'll get you a drink after. So, in this music video, Jah-MONTE sits center stage, gazed upon by both the audience and what appears to be a black woman painting his portrait. It's ironic because in this track, Jah-MONTE offers us an image into his inner monologue. Each work is a stroke closer to delivering the sonic image of a man grappling with some things that may or may not be resolved by the end of the track. These range from the seemingly minuscule missteps in romantic encounters, quote, some queens might drop some screenshots because I be tweaking, I try.
Why he quote that?
Let's go. No, I like it.
I ain't writing it.
Oh, yeah.
So from that to a Black Revolution quote, they thought I wouldn't change, denying evolution. Who ready for the evolution? Get at me. For the revolution, get at me. With this juxtaposition of themes, Jah-MONTE seems to capture that to begin to envision a black liberatory movement, there must not only be a criticalness of one's past actions influenced by masculine posturing, but also desire and a will to change, as bell hooks remind us. Whether conscious or not, Jah-MONTE's self-reflection is welcomed in our current moment where our intimate encounters are being regulated most dramatically in the recent overturning of Roe v. Wade, or in the most mundane ways always the case for black people. As the viewer, I'm interested in the prolongation of Jah-MONTE's moments of reflection as he continues to give words to his particular experiences within the world as a black masculine person.
I like that, man. You gotta send me that. I need to post that on my ground, bro. Please send me that.
Yeah, so I think that like what I'm trying to say is that as we're navigating the world, you know, dating and, you know, as young people, like we do fuck up, you know? And so what I like about this song is the way that you say like, I fucked up.
Right.
But you're also like saying that you're like, there is a movement, you know, acknowledging that in a movement like forward in like some way. And I mean that like as a viewer, I am interested in like those moments, particularly in hip hop where it is like criticized and, you know, rightfully so, for its like misogyny and like homophobia at times and, you know, all those things. So, yeah, so. I'm not here to, I know in another interview you said, people get at you for like saying like bitch. So I'm not here to police your language, but I'm just saying that like I do think that like in this video I like that you know it's a moment where there is a sense of like a reflection there. That,
definitely.
You know, yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So if you want to like all three of you like I guess just kind of like I don't know, just kind of like talk about like how do you like expand who hip hop is for, I guess, or like expand because I know on the album that you did with Navy Blue, you had features from like female artists, and like that was something even in the reviews that was like highlighted.
Yeah.
And so I guess like going forward and like just thinking about like how are you like thinking about expanding who hip hop can be for? Because I think that some people are alienated from hip hop because of the moment. So
I feel like in today's hip hop, you just have to be mindful of everybody. When I started, like I'm not saying that hip hop was a man thing, but like I just started off like rapping for my homies, like my male homies. So some of the things I say, are because I know like my male homies are listening.
yeah,
Not to say male, female, my bad. But yeah, but you have to be mindful of women, queer people, just everybody in general. So I try to be mindful. Try to give everybody, but I'm still on my like hip hop is a black space. But besides you know what I mean. Everybody else, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But still, you have to be mindful. Of everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. Not to put you on the spot, because
No, I mean that's a good question though. I
That's a
think
great question.
going back to music being a language, right? It's important to make sure that it's important to recognize the power that you have and to be aware of who you're predominantly reaching out to, because it's not as simple as I only have this group of people listening to me, right? It's obviously like I'm saying something to them that resonates. And as an artist, it should be our job to make sure that we're saying something that resonates to everybody else, right? And we have to be aware of things that we might not be aware of, our own biases, right? We have to be aware of identities. We have to be aware about situations in the news and how they relate to identities. We have to do more work to make sure that we're connecting the dots of how life actually plays out and who's being represented and who's at the focus of certain stories that are being told, whether they're good or bad. And it's our job to use our music to speak on that.
Yeah.
Fact.
I think as sonic producers, it's a little, or as like, I mean, I'm not a rapper. It's a little easier not to stratify people with your music, because you put it out there and whoever, you know, likes it. I've had all, you know, people of all different, you know, identities come together in a room and just rock their head to dope beats. So I think it is a great bridge for all communities, but, you know.
Some people don't feel like they're welcome in that community, and it's our job to make sure that we tell them that they're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
That's our responsibility, because we might know that everyone's welcome, but if they don't know it, they're not going to ask us like, "Hey, we have to make that clear." That's our job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, if you're gonna come into certain spaces, you have to have the utmost respect. That's all I'm gonna say, because, for sure.
Would you say like being being white in a hip hop scene, that's something that you try to?
Well, yeah, and like I think I don't like I feel like when I see other white people come into hip hop spaces, I'm almost more like, all right, don't fucking have us looking bad here. You know what I'm saying? it goes back, because like it needs to be genuine. It doesn't need to, I mean, everyone likes hip hop, everyone likes rap music, but when you really get into spaces and cultures, and you just have to really know and have the utmost respect. So no, certainly, yeah.
I feel like a lot of white boys get put to the test on this music shit sometimes, like, cause he been in some places just like being with me, and of course I'm straight. Right. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like he really be getting put to the test, and it's just like, how you gonna act in that moment? You know what I mean? It's just like,
You just gotta act right. That's the answer.
you know what I mean? My boy, he respectful to what's going on, and you know what I mean? He stayed true to himself. So I remember one time we did a show in Auburn in Atlanta. We was just like on the crack block, and my boy was just out there, and I was just like, damn, I don't know, we know where we at. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? He was out there, so, yeah. They be in them spaces. They be getting put to the test, bro. And, you know what I mean? So
I think a big part of it is like obviously acknowledging it, but it almost has to be an afterthought. Like it can't be on the front of your mind the whole time. It's just like, I'm here because of music, and these are my friends. That's the thought. Anything beyond that, it's like you're doing some weird identity stuff. It's just like, just don't overthink it. Just be cool. Like, I don't know.
I feel like it's a learning thing.
Yeah.
Like, you get to learn shit out of it too, because you might say something and everybody might look at you like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. My boy getting put to the test, man. Doing his thing. Nah, I'm not saying I'm testing. I'm just saying, like, we might do a show somewhere.
We this space. Get ready,
niggas might be like, you know what I mean? Like, just on go already. It's like, who people is this? Like, you know what I mean? And I was just like, damn, that's crazy.
No, that's funny. That's so our next song is Yeshua. This is from your latest project.
Okay. This is a video?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You don't have a video, right?
Did I do a video for Yeshua?
I was looking for it.
Oh.
I ain't seen one.
Oh, okay. I ain't know.
Anything you want to tell us about it before we press play? You want to talk
Yeshua.
about it after?
Which one is Yeshua?
You can talk about it after.
Okay, yeah.
Remind you real quick.
Oh, I remember Yeshua.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I need like the intro, man.
What's wrong with Cardi B?
Yo, I be rocking with Cardi. I just be saying something and make somebody be like, yo, what? You see how you be on this? Like, it's just something like that.
Yeah,
We were.
I rock with Cardi heavy.
Man, just took a.
Yeah, when we were
I
first
said
driving in,
that.
we had the shuttle service.
Show him the picture.
We had the shuttle service.
He had the shuttle stop so he could get a
I wish
picture with Cardi.
Pull over.
Where we at? Where they got that?
It's-
Where is it at in Providence? They got a picture of Cardi B on the wall.
It's Cardi B.
It's Drake, Cardi, and
Drake.
somebody. I hopped out and showed love.
I did see that.
He said,
Well,
I
too
showed
happy.
love.
He was way too happy.
He said, I showed love.
Hopped out and showed love.
Had the shuttle stop.
I literally said, I saw that on your story. I said, you can't take Charlotte niggas nowhere.
Yo. She was like, make it quick. Make it quick.
But I picked that song because I wanted to know more about like what your writing process is and like your relationship between your voice and the beat, or the music behind it, and kind of what do you view as your relationship to it? Like, is it like, are you trying to like challenge it? Are you trying to like tackle it? Are you like massaging it? Like what is like those?
I feel like
adverbs?
That's intimate massage.
But you know, like, what does it look like to massage a beat? You know, like, what does that look like? Like, you know,
I feel like I'm doing all those, but on different beats.
right. So, what would you say this one was?
Can you play it one more time?
Yeah.
This is not one of my favorite songs.
It's a little bit more.
Bro, do you like any of your own music, bro?
Let me get on the computer. Alright. With this record, I just wanted to get into the pockets of it, like with the flow. Like, what did I say? It's amazing how I'm amazing, how I'm amazing, how I'm amazing. Like that. Like, I just wanted to just like have those flows and pockets on this record. So on this one, I want to say I was just like dancing, like, I don't know, like ballroom dancing, you know, just swinging and around and around. Like, I was just taking it different places. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, sometimes I try to massage the beat. Sometimes I do try to attack the beat. Like, yo, how can I, like,
Yeah,
what is it?
give
What
me
is
a
that
song.
one song? That's what I thought Yeshua was.
What song?
The one we did the video
Is it off that one?
Lincoln and Building. With that kind of flow, I was just like,
I think
yeah.
it's what you're more known for.
That's was just like attacking the beat. So
It's off the same album?
yeah.
I mean, I think like similarly as like producers, there's like, especially like sampling. There's tracks that we, for me, I don't know if it's the same for you. Whenever I hear something, and I can tell like what the flow of that track is, I can figure out what I should loop, what would probably sound good as a loop, and what I want to loop. And
Right.
sometimes we just gotta. It's like you're chopping it up differently, and you like one loop, but it's just not. It just doesn't have the right flow. You know what I'm saying? And
Really about feeling.
Yeah,
you know?
there's-
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try to get advice from a producer as well,
Okay.
like yo, how you think? Sometimes like how you think I should come on this?
Okay. I want to hear what you think of. Hear this one then for the. This is linking in buildings.
Not this one.
It's not this one.
No.
Okay, I think I might have. I think I might.
It's a video. What is it called? It's the. I don't know. I'm sorry. No,
You like the one with Fick off of
It's the second song.
Do you like that song? The one with Fick?
Mhm.
Okay, let me play that one because I think that might be a. Is that how you say it?
Feek.
Feek. Oh.
Feet. Yo, I didn't even think until the after it was an afterthought when I made Beautifully Black. I'm like, yo, I put a white dude on this album. But that was my homie. I was like, yo, this is one of my biggest albums, and Feek was just a good friend to me. Like just going to New York, he always let me crash at his house and things like that. Introduced me to people. So like, yo, whenever I get the chance, I want to put you on like a big project of mine, and that's what I did. And then it was just afterthought. I was like, damn. Like,
Get it to yourself.
I did that.
Calendar counters.
Huh? Calendar counters is what it was called. Sorry.
Strictly ball constrictors and cobras. She picking coke better than those Cupid's bow. Shot me top over for tongue.
I gotta feel this.
Bones won't blow you an organ don't stop hot patrolling boats. Range roll the scope out the rip pipe. Made a chrome fake the album made a home. Radioactive sizzle microphone. Two total goals. Drone strike on the bicycle. Mrs. Porterhouse whistle to kiss the pistol. Pistachio shells fell off the wet. Pipeline made crystals. Wiping chisel. Diamond down till we found the water in the ice. They go caustic. Sipping the lakes. A big flick in the picture. Never flick the fake scriptures. Cheddar collecting like pop sticker box. The pot sticker steam in the BB up on it. I'm Scotty without the crop circles. Everything is not hustle. 2011 they sat just like perpetrators at the birth weight rate. It's not top of the percolator. Navigator maverick like I'm drugged up in front of the foul line to pull strings for that last step. Back, front, hope you class, sack, ass, cap with all the right foot, fast track, slow money, fast track, cold money, fast pack, around for the last batch, whoa. Finals moving like car sales, right, still tall tales, all hell, the king of the CC, those no princes, clinking the G's. Out of the end, chicken, skis, and try to strip with no cheese. Please, fuck out of here. The time is hectic, but the grind is respected. I don't choose to get rejected, I'm unaffected and connected. She expected and unexpected and took a trip to Connecticut. She not used to being around elegant. This is etiquette.
I was on my way to Connecticut when I heard that. First on the time I never dragged in the dirt, I just hit it off a perfect spurt. If you broke what the workshop, you bread, I know my work chirp hit me. Oh, no, you were crazy. Nah, hit me.
So this is like an example of me like attacking a beat.
Okay.
Ain't nobody rapping like that,
It's just
man.
like,
Yeah.
yo,
Ain't nobody rapping like that.
I have to like go like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have
Yeah.
to just be very aggressive.
Yeah.
The way that I've always thought about it is, it's like if you think about it like a stream. You know, if you put something in the stream will go around it, or you can choose to go with the stream. And sometimes that's how making music is.
Yeah. I was gonna. All right, we're gonna play 2 songs from you, and then we're gonna talk about y'all's process as well. So.
Yeah.
You gonna play a Mike Digi song?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Which one?
You got more than one song.
I mean, but that's my song though. Like, I mean, it is our song, but that's kind of
I'm a team player.
my album.
So this first one is, I think I played it before people got here, but this first one is Slavic City.
Yes.
Yeah, my boy got the heat.
This beat is crazy. My
That's
God.
wild. That's wild. Can you turn me up a little bit? Woo. It's actually not to sample snitch on myself, but it's a Polish jazz sample,
Oh, okay.
and I'm Polish, so that's why I named it Slavic City.
Okay,
so,
I was
yeah,
gonna
word.
ask. Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's basically it.
You made this on the machine?
Where were you when you made this?
I was
Like
so
mentally.
no, like so. This is wild. Like I had roommates before, and they were some party people. Like they would go out and party all night, and I would just be at the crib getting a little lit, playing records real loud. I would have like Goodfellas on and just be like watching a movie on mute and just playing that shit. And I remember the night I made this, I could have swore I was Dr. Dre. I was like, oh no, I'm the one. Like I was a little, I was a little sauced up, so that may have something to do with it. But I remember this for sure.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the coming from the angle of like, that's why I sample, a lot of like European or whatever. It's coming from the angle of, I don't want to say psychedelic, but just something unknown or something you can't quite put your finger on. Mm-hmm. I like coming from that state of mind or picking those samples. It's like, what even is this? Like,
yeah.
Trying to make it rhythmic.
Yeah. So we're gonna play. What do I have from you? My bad. Her Business.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. So I made that. So I've got an album that just came out back in September with my good buddy Jay Wade out in Chicago. Monte actually put me on, and Jay Wade and Cloudboy, they're two crazy dudes out of Chicago. So didn't link up, but I got in contact with Jay Wade, and at first I had sent him a track, and he sent it back the same day and was like, okay, this is great. You got any more? And I was like, okay. I sent him 3, and he's like, okay, let's do an EP. Do you have any more? And I was like, okay, yeah, here's 7. He's like, let's just do an album. Do you have any more? So I think it's 18 tracks in total, and that was the most exhausting album I've ever put, because it was like 6 months of nonstop okay, let's get this mixed, let's get the album art here, we're doing this, and it was like a constant process. I'm really proud of that album.
Yeah, that's a really good album.
Dope
Thank
album.
you. Yeah.
Some dudes just got the drums like that. I'm lucky. I get lucky with that shit, bro.
Stricken in the business of damage, inflicted extra amount on my chicken. That's a ghetto blessing. DiMaggio Bibbins. If more than half of them hit, you won't hit a decision. I interranged and escape with a pivot. I study Sherman rule and learn to break my falls. Now no matter how down, I rose above all. I'm on my toes before. You seen how it could go. It shows the fold. Calculated cowardice. They inflated averageness. I'm poking holes in that till it float and fall flat. She brought some double stuff to butter me up. Flustered me once, get struck by the blunt, butt in the chucks. You lose as soon as you play like you want. What's up the front wasn't enough. Play no part, just the art. If it don't twist the confines of your conscience, the end was coming. I told him to hold the horsemen. I'm off the wall like shots from whole horses. The punch was short, but it felt like more, cause how my shoulder talked it. No more hold ups. I split my soul up like Voldemort. And be prepared to wear your wounds. That's if you hold a sword. She told me don't lose your mind, as if that isn't what you know me for. Yo.
Yeah, I
Love that track.
yeah.
Jay Wade, he's a great guy. And he's a huge nerd. Love all nerd stuff. And I knew this track was the one because I just in the past year I started watching JoJo's, and he made a JoJo's reference, and that's and I was like, oh yeah, we locked in, bro. We good. Yeah, man. That's the boy. Yeah, that's my guy, man. I love Jay Wade.
Yeah. So how do your projects? So like you said, it was you sent him some beats, and then it kind of just developed into a project. Is that Do people ever approach you like, hey, can you make me a beat give how does that?
God, I hate that question. So it's because I don't collab often, right? Mm-hmm. We all have stuff together. Yeah. We're all on the same page, but when people approach me, it's really hard to sometimes feel genuine when you're making a beat, because what I like about making a beat for someone else is that there's experiences. Again, I keep honing on that, but there's real things to base that music on. And if someone approaches me, it becomes like a job, right? And that's fine sometimes, and it doesn't take away from the music. Yeah. But when listening to it, I hear a difference personally. And so there's a challenge of forcing myself to not just make the song. Like I want it to be a real song. I want it to be a passionate song, and I want it to be something that they really like and they really perform for, or they perform with. There's another guy in Chicago named Flowers, and he recently opened up for Mobby, and he wanted a couple of beat packs. And I could have just sent him stuff that I had, like B-roll, right? But it doesn't feel right as a producer, right? Like there's you got to put yourself into the music, and so if that means you got to start from scratch, then you got to see it through, and that in and of itself is worth more than money.
Yeah. Did you have something as well for kind of navigating that?
When I'm producing for people, I think if people ask me, I think they've heard something I've done, and so it's like, oh, I just have to do me here. Yeah. But I feel like if I'm producing for people, like JAH-MONTE's a great example. Like I'm a team player in that role, and like people when you're making music with, I think it's important to have like alleviation of ego, if you will, if you want it to be as good as possible. It's different just like selling beats and being a guy who sells beats on the internet. If you want the quick bag, and the guy says, oh, I need a pack and I got the money, it's just like, you gotta make money. But if you truly want the best music out there, you have to be a little pickier. But finding the balance there as an independent artist can be tough, because you want to make money, but it's like, I think what he's saying, it's more important than money. It's like, it's going to be there forever in the digital space. So
it's almost like exploiting yourself, and that's like,
exactly.
you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
right?
Just for like $200, it's like, come on.
Yeah, take an example from me. I've done a lot of features for quick cash.
Right.
It doesn't look good on your Spotify and Apple Music. When those artists might not be as serious as you,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm very like hands-on with my cover art and how I want my things to look. So I might do a feature for somebody for $300 to $600, and they might just put up a picture of the cat or something.
Yeah.
And then once you search my name up, is this a picture of somebody's cat? So,
Yeah.
definitely be picky.
Yeah. How do you feel about Tried Your Best? You like that song?
Tried Your Best? Well, Kelly Moon's on?
The Go.
Yeah.
Go. You play that one. I gotta get this. You still selling vinyls for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was waiting on that paycheck to come in before I could. Cool. So I think that we're gonna open it up to Q&A if people have any questions that they want to ask. So yeah. Do people have any questions that they want to ask? Anyone up here? Yeah. Malcolm?
Yeah.
Do we have a mic for him? Is there? Okay.
Did you not like my verse on that song?
Oh, I did.
I'm messing. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask, maybe not it's like influences, but maybe not just I know influence is like a loaded term kind of, but just like artists who you really rock with, when you started making art, maybe if you have a record or two, you heard it and you were this is it, this is the feeling I want my music to have.
For me, it was Nicholas Craven's Death Soul. It's like a 12-minute project. Damn. Some of the coldest shit I've ever heard in my life. I mean, from the art to the title to how each track flowed into the next one, that was I need to make something like that. I'm trying to get like him. But eventually as an artist, it's not I don't want to be Nicholas Craven, right? But that definitely put me on the mindset of I can do that too.
When I first started rapping, when I was younger, I remember having a Lil Bow Wow Doggy Bag album. Y'all remember that? When he with the white, then it came with the poster?
From Ohio.
Come on. I remember that. Like, I can't even front on Bow. Like,
On Bow.
I remember having that on my wall. Like, I gotta give it up.
my
Like,
son right
me
there.
being young, also being young, like,
That's
Eddie
how far
from
it
That's
goes
So
back.
Raven. I remember I was young. Like, this is when, like, I'm figuring out, like, yo, I want to, like, write. So Eddie from That's So Raven, he was on, like, the intro song. And just on the show, like, he was rapping. Like, So I remember Eddie from That's So Raven, like, really being an inspiration. Like, no, like,
Yeah.
this
be
could
like
be
Eddie.
funny, but this not funny. Like, like I'm young at this time. And these,
That's how far
and
it goes
these guys
back.
are
Yeah,
doing
no, for
it.
real, yeah.
And these guys are doing it. So I want to say Lil Bow Wow, Doggy Bag,
That's dope.
Eddie from That's So Raven, he was on it. And then just like regular stuff like Jay-Z or whatever.
Right.
Like I said, my mom was playing Arrested Development, Outkast,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But what I remember, yeah, my boy Eddie and Bow Wow was doing their thing. And I'm like, nah, I can do that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's when I began, like, started, not now, obviously.
Yeah.
As far as like album wise, Crit was here and Little Brother The Listening. But I also remember playing NBA Street 2 in like 6th grade.
Come on.
And I heard They Reminisce Over You, and you're like, I was like, what is this? Like, what even is this? So if you go back in your mind as a kid, you're like, oh, there's pieces of dopeness that were there that
Yeah.
set me on my way.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, that collaging, it like all builds up to this. Yeah.
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 And as like internet era kids, I feel our sample or our influences are all over the place.
Yeah.
Because we grew up listening to like everything because of the
Yeah.
internet. So
That's a good question. Thanks, man.
yeah, for sure, bro.
Professor Gallen?
So thank you for this conversation. It's really generative. So I have two questions basically. How important is it for you to sort of continue to be in the underground space? So that's the first question. Like, how important is it for you to be in that underground space, be an underground artist? And then how do you balance validation? Because I really feel you on the wanting your flowers
Yes.
now. I feel that. How do you balance validation with creativity, right? This need for validation, but also wanting to be creative and do things that are experimental. So, yeah, those two questions.
Everybody at Brown got great questions.
That was amazing.
Creative capital.
The validation thing, I think.
You want me to answer it first or no? Was that question for me?
Yeah, all three of you. You start with
okay.
validation questions.
Yeah.
I know that's in your mind.
It's just like, I feel like my validation like comes from a financial thing. It's just like, yo, I need some bread right now. Like, I'm trying to, yeah, this is my reality. Like, I ain't trying to be working for these white folks. You know what I mean? I don't want my daughter to be working for them. I don't want nobody in my life. Like, we all need to have our own companies and everything. And so, it's just my threat, just like my hunger, just to like be able to take care of my family and provide for my family. So that's why with some of my material, I'm like, I want people to like accept it in this kind of way and like kind of like blow it up. So just that validation for me is just kind of hard. And it kind of messes with my creativity because I might just want to write a regular song. Like I might not want to be so pro-black or I might not want to, you know, have to teach people things. And I might just want to get something off and just like be in that space without being judged. But I'm also in a different kind of space as far as like building with our community. So I'm always going to be like judged to that.
Right.
So sometimes I do create in a way to where I'm just like, okay, I know if I do this, then people rock my formula, like people rock my song titles, my ad-libs and stuff like that, even though I might not want to do that. So I might do something a certain way, just kind of how I know it will be received, pardon me.
Yeah.
But you know that as an artist, as a black artist,
Yes.
the path to popular validation, which comes with money,
Yes.
is to take that path that's going to take you away from consciousness.
So yes, I think
Right.
it goes to your underground thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to be underground forever. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's
like if it was my choice, I wouldn't be underground. But it's just, I rap, I don't have $1 million, so my reach is only but so long. So I don't know, I just make do with what I have. People rock with it, but it's not to the point to where I'm being flagged for samples. Like, I'm not that popular, but I also want to take it to that level. Like, I watch videos of Michael Jackson just standing there with the glasses on for 8 minutes and people just yelling, and I'm like, nah. Like, the confidence I have in my music, I'm like, nah, I need that. Like, that's me. So, I don't know. I walk through, you see the video in Times Square, sometimes I walk through Times Square, I'm like, I want to be on this billboard. Like, I feel like I could, so. I would like to be like human, underground human, like, okay, I can go to Starbucks or something, but I also want to be received, go somewhere and people know who I am. So, yeah.
For me, I think that validation requires a lot of self-discipline, and it requires a lot of patience with yourself and a lot of forgiveness.
True.
You really gotta love this stuff because it's really tough. And there are a lot of times where you will be discouraged, and there will be a lot of times where you know you should have something else. And that's the reality of it. You just know that there should be more to come, and it's very easy to get discouraged, and it's very easy to give up. But the passion that I have allows me to take any criticism that I receive, or any comment, or any observation that I myself have or other people have, and to force myself to see it as something positive, because that's really the only way that we could come to terms with the state that we're in if we're not already happy with it.
Right.
I think the underground as like an idea is a comfortable place for some people, and some people like being in the underground, and I think there's a part of us that requires us to analyze where we're at and accept everything that comes with it. If we're, being an underground artist means we don't get checked for samples, right? But that also means we're not booking the big shows, right? And
we don't get green rooms.
Yeah, we're not. You know what I mean? Like, so, and some people, those are deal breakers for them. Some people, those are not deal breakers for. And so I think trying to observe things as they come and go, instead of looking at a list of what I should have and what I don't have, allows me to have a peace of mind that focuses more on my own personal relationship with music, instead of how others' relationship with music enhances my own life.
Come on, man.
I think just to go off the underground thing, like wanting to remain underground, I think I'm guilty of this too. It's just like, the underground isn't necessarily like a type of music. And I think boom bap hip hop, I guess a lot of the times it falls into the underground category. But I feel now with the internet and like subsects of audiences and communities people have, I feel any brand can reach new heights and not be so underground. Like, there's artists who are, verified, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, national tours, and you may not know who they are because they have amassed an audience from the internet. So the underground thing is a tough thing to wrestle, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any other
Great question, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, thank you all for talking to us. I do have 2 questions. One, I think someone here mentioned about trying to make this space more inclusive. So I was just wondering, how can y'all as artists do that? But also wondering how, if there's a possibility that being so inclusive can actually harm the community itself, where it can kind of dilute maybe our message or maybe what the purpose of the community was about. So I was wondering how that balance can be achieved.
That's a really good question.
That is a consistent risk, where the message that we have may not reach the people that we intended it to, or the message that we have affects more people than we did not intend to. As artists, I think it's our responsibility to have more information on the things that maybe we don't take for granted, or for things that we take for granted, excuse me. So, like, for example, our identities, right? It's enough to say that I see these other identities some people think that it's enough to acknowledge identities. And it's unfortunate that that is the end of that kind of reach for some people. For me, I think it's my goal to donate immediate resources that I get from my money, because I think that's how we can immediately help. And then it's also up to us to make sure that the messages we're putting out are consistent in that we are reaching, or we are talking to other people that we weren't immediately aware of.
I think because like in any political or sociological background can like your music, so it's not like there's qualifications for it, but I think it's just being careful of who you let really close, because yeah, I mean, different people who may feel a different way about other things, they may like the same music, and I think yeah, I think promoting inclusivity is one thing, but yeah, I think just kind of knowing that just because we listen to the same music, we might not agree about everything on political, sociological, economical. I think it's acknowledging the differences and being careful about who you allow really close to the circle. So
I don't want anyone shitty listening to my music, and it's my job to make sure that they know that. You know what I mean? Like, and if they are going to listen to my music, then I'm going to take their money and I'm going to donate to people that need it, right? Like, sometimes you have to work with what you have, and your reach is really awful people, and the most we can do as audiences is really make them make sure that they don't want to come back. Because I mean, I can't whoop somebody's ass, right? If I could, it would be a different audience, right? But with the power and the capabilities that we have, we have to do more work.
Yeah.
And that's just as an artist, right? Like we can write off that we made a song that everyone can listen to. But I just think that's a lazy way to make sure that our own asses are covered without diving into maybe our own biases and the people that are in our circle that have biases that we didn't recognize before. And if we want them to support, we have to figure out those things and make sure that they're on the same page as us, because I don't think we should accept that coexisting with shitty people is like okay. I just don't think there should be shitty people, right? Like that's that. And if that realm of people coexisting is my music, I want to push those shitty people out as best as I can.
Yeah.
I think y'all covered it. Okay. I thought they were looking at me to say something. I think y'all pretty much covered it.
Do you have a question?
So my name is Josh. I actually live in Rhode Island most of my life. I don't like the term underground. How do you feel about the term independent, if you want to say? Because I grew up as a DJ, right? I grew up with Michael Jackson. If you want to use Michael Jackson, it's more inclusive on his language with his music, if you want to say.
Right.
When in the 1990s, when he actually had that racial equality era, if you want to say, how do you feel about actually using more of an inclusive language in your music, but also utilizing resources in? Because I know we got a radio station.
I mean, that seems intuitive and what we should do, right?
And also, would you be able to, because you're saying now, if you want to donate or if you want to get more intuitive on the political standards, how would you feel about actually changing the format? Because most, if you want to say, radio stations only have one format, and if you want to go back to the 80s or the 70s, we got Pusherman, right? Pusherman, everyone listens to Pusherman, but at the end of the day, a black man made that song. But at the end of the day, not to be exclusive, a white person will listen to that song. Mm-hmm. But they don't know the terminology to it. And that was around the crack pandemic. And it was just emphasizing that around the crack pandemic, the black community was getting red on.
So are you saying that like
So how do you feel about the term underground? Do you feel like the term underground is depressing your music versus using the term independent? Because being independent, you have no barriers. Being underground, you have barriers.
I think independent's a way better terminology for that, because like the lady.
Just so they can hear you.
The lady who had asked the question earlier, she's like, "Do you want to remain in underground?" And I think there is somewhat negative connotations to the underground.
I can give you another example. Think about Kanye, right? When Kanye came to the game, he came as a producer, if I'm correct.
Yes.
I don't agree with what Kanye is doing right now, but Kanye back then, he came as a producer, and he's like, no, I want to be a songwriter. But he was blacklisted. You use the exclusive term blacklisted. It's like saying underground. I'm just saying you put in limitations on yourself and say you shouldn't use limitations.
Yeah. I think that's Oh, go ahead.
Well, what I was gonna say is that I just didn't see like being undergrounded as a limitation. I mean, that for me it was a state of where I was at, and I was focused more so on how can I put myself in a place that I'm comfortable in, more so than is the underground itself like a comfortable spot. If the underground means that I have to make music a certain way, then I don't want to be in the underground. But if the underground means that I get to make music my way and still consider my music the underground, then that's fine too. I just didn't see it as limiting. I mean,
Let me give you another example. Like, think about New York, right? New York is stuck on drill right now. But
Right.
meanwhile, we're trying to be more inclusive with our language. And if you want to say Chicago had the terminology drill, when if you want to say the murder rate was up, and the community was getting redlined at that time period, and then New York adapted that. Now Rhode Island's back into the drill music. So how can we actually change that format and utilize PB Fest, if you want to say, to be more inclusive or more, if you want to say, more beloved community?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a question that. So they're not from Providence, so they don't. So
different regions.
Yeah. No, I think that this is a conversation that definitely stick around like after to like have a more like in depth, because I think that it gets at something that like people here might not necessarily be like privy to, and I think that that's just a conversation I think would be really good to have, like for real, like actually, that we running short on time and like it opens up great great questions. Oh, go ahead.
I feel like that's more like community-based things, not like not like artistic. But even though they're doing it in the music, but I feel like that's like something that starts at home. You know, like your neighborhood, your street, your household. Like once you change it from there, then it changes with the music. But people really deal. If they really living like that, then they dealing with that in their everyday life, not just going to the studio. You know, so. I don't know. It's just like we can try to change the music. We gotta change the person.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that goes into not a real question, but like in general about like is music an expression, or does music guide, or is it just an expression of what's already kind of there? Is what you're getting at? Yeah. Yeah.
But back to what you said with the whole underground thing, I feel like in some ways it is limiting, but in some ways it's not. You know, it's just like. Sometimes it's cool to be underground if you don't want to be so mainstream, if you don't want to be a sellout, whatever. So underground is cool in that atmosphere, but when you're in the underground and you're kind of like making waves, making more moves that's that's not underground related, then it's kind of limiting. Because if you go out here calling yourself, oh, I'm an underground rapper, I don't think nobody like call themselves underground rapper. It's just you just might be in a space to where you might use the term underground because we're not.
That's the easiest way to
on the billboard or on these kind of charts. So it's just like you're indie, but it's just another word for independent.
Right.
But I've been thinking about that lately. Like independent is a better way. But in some scenes, it's like okay, where's like the underground scene? Sometimes they just wonder where's the
alternative.
The ugly, not ugly, but where's the gritty? You know what I mean? Like where's the stuff where I can just get on without having to look good, without having to be able to dance and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that helps. But you on your stuff though, yeah. You got it.
I appreciate it. You really give a fuck,
Yeah. Do you have one last question before we end with the little second half of niggas is washed up and doing bad, not me though?
Do anybody here do music or anything artistic? Cool. Cool. Boy DJ.
Can I ask? Is there anything that like y'all are working on or want to like let us know about currently or anything like that?
Go ahead, John.
I got a question for y'all. How y'all feel about independent artists giving up the fight, like signing?
Are they sellouts if they sign a contract?
They can start their own record labels. They can go on their terms.
Right. But if you don't have the resources to start your own record label and someone who has resources reaches out, are they a sellout? You don't think so? She don't think so?
So if I was kicking all that, I'm kicking. Right? How you feel? All that I'm kicking that crazy indie talk.
Yeah.
And I just signed a deal.
I mean, I think that's like, it's real life that like people have to like eat. Right. So it's like, for me, I mean, I don't make music.
Yeah.
Like, I purposely am not an artist because I don't know if I can make it, doing, so I get it. Like, I get the need to make money, like, for real.
I mean, has a question.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about DJ drama? DJ It's independent.
I feel like DJ Drama. I feel like DJ Drama elevated the game from just being a DJ to being an actual company. Cause he signed Jack Harlow.
He's like a label now, if you
Lil
will.
Uzi.
But going back to where I was just stating, independence, you create your own rules. You don't
Right.
create resources. It depends how you use it.
And you're saying Drama did that.
Nipsey also did that.
Right, right.
For me, I just like making music, and so I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we get caught up in like what it could be, and I don't know. I think just making music at the end of the day, that's enough for me. Like being black and making music, I'm not wherever the music takes me. That's cool. But as long as I'm there making my own music,
Yeah.
I'm happy. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think a regular person in North Carolina can do what Nipsey Hussle did. Like Nipsey Hussle was like a drug dealer in the game. You know what I mean? Like his network was just like that. Like if you just a dude who go to work, you know what I mean? Like you don't got all that, bro. Like Nipsey Hussle got a video saying his older brother like buried $1 million. So it's easy for them to do their own independent thing. It's easy for DJ Drama to do his thing rather than if you just work and almost living check to check. It's a little harder.
I'm gonna say, like I love Nipsey Hussle, like what he represented.
Yeah.
But also, like I also don't love like also what he represented.
Right.
Like, what he represented got him killed.
Right.
But so even with all that like $1 million thing.
Yeah.
Like, I love like similar to what you were saying before. Like I feel like you said something earlier. Like, what do you consider like a sellout? Like, 'cause you said someone who sells out. Like, what do you consider like a sellout?
What did I consider a sellout?
Yeah.
I consider a sellout somebody who like pro-black and date white or date outside their race. Sorry, that's just that's my idea. Like, if you want to get direct to it, like
That does not reflect the
music stuff. I don't know.
Cypher, just for the
I'm
record.
just saying, not my bad, but like if that's what I think of some sellout shit. Like with some artist shit, I don't know. It's just like don't say you black owned and you not. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if I'm making it like you know what I mean about race, but
I mean, it's always about race.
Certain things like that. Like if you say you for something, but you moving differently. That's some sellout shit to me because you're using the culture for personal gain.
And no, but the thing I was talking about before was, don't you think that's kind of like, because I feel like a lot of times in our communities, we kind of glorify the fast tracker ways, and even though we know the detrimental results.
Right.
Like, even though I feel like that's Nipsey's life, and I don't start like trying for that. Like I don't like down for having that life, but I do think we need to tell like more of a cautionary tales.
Yeah.
And talk about people's existences because I feel that like a lot of people's lives get glamorized to where it's like a lot of especially the impressionable youth get like hooked on to see like okay this person without context about things of how things people grow up with. I feel like do you think it's the responsibility of you said don't you think it's I think it's the responsibility of multiple people within the society of not only is it like it's just the artist's fault. It's I feel like everyone has a piece of the pie to blame, so it's like the record companies for allowing the culture to that to exist,
People
the
who
artists for willingness to write these things, but also the audience for willing to buy these things because at the end of the day, these people don't have anything to sell without any people to buy them.
Right.
So like, I feel like I agree with you on it's people's choices to know what to listen.
Yeah.
I also feel like everyone has a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's close.
I feel like it really falls back on the artist. We can't blame the label. The label trying to make money.
Yeah.
We can't blame the consumers because they buying what they like. That's why I like take so much into my shit. It's just like a little cringy sometimes. I'm just like, I didn't have to say that. I didn't have to, you know what I mean? Because I know I did not have to say that, but I still said it because maybe I could have it helped me write the song quicker. I feel like it falls back on the artist, bro. Like you know what you're putting out there, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really think you could blame the label. You can. It's just like. That's like the corporate shit, you know what I mean? Like them just buying our rights and selling our stuff. But you as an artist, is like you got to stand for something, know what you want to say. So, yeah, I put it on the artist, man. But of course, everybody got to eat. But everybody else, they gonna play their part. So what you gonna do? What you gonna talk about? Or if you're not gonna talk about it in your art, what are you gonna talk about like in real life when you're having discussions like these? I feel like a lot of people like in Elite Chopper, like he kind of like one of those dudes. It's just like they rap like this, but when you see an interview, it's just totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I put it on the artist.
Yeah.
The system's still a little at fault. I mean,
Of course,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the system is the system.
Right. That's just like radical acceptance. I think. You know.
Unless you're gonna break the system.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's
the
a,
system.
right. I mean,
Kind of goes back into what he was saying about starting your own label and being self-sufficient. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think what you're describing is like there is the system. There is obviously the system, but it's like how do you interact with that system while it's still here? And it's like, I mean, that's a question that like, I mean, that extends even to like politics, extends into everything. Is like we are operating within this system, and like the music industry is connected to, you know, all of. I mean, we see Young Thug right now, like what's going on. Like it's all connected.
Right.
So it's like, what is your performance going to be within that system while you're performing in the system, unless you are aiming to, and perhaps should be aiming to disrupt the system,
Right.
destroy the system in some way, right? Confront the culture. But you know, did we have? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna make a comment on the system in general. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of when you see the history of music, I feel like the thing that happened before was like there was violence back then and people knew about it, but I feel like there was a balance to where it was both this type of music and that type of music.
Right.
Right.
A lot of consciousness, a lot of people actually doing things, but now I think there's a huge saturation of what is what the market wants. So I agree with what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you. Oh, you were
It
going to
was
say something?
Malcolm had asked us what we were working on.
Oh yeah. What are you working on? What
I
are you
gotta get back to that. I got you, bro. I'm working on physicals. I kind of want to slow down making music, mostly because my laptop's broken, so I can't really make music. But I think for us, we're definitely trying to build like a centralized hub for us to showcase all of our music, whether it's physical stuff, digital stuff, so websites, things that are more centralized for our collective is, I think, a big goal for this year.
What you working on, bro?
I have an album. It's essentially a beat tape with a couple of rap features. It's called Sun Starved. It's hopefully coming out by the end of the month.
I'm releasing an album on vinyl next February. In February. At the end of this month, I'm sorry. February 25th. I'm still in January. Come to New Jersey. Come to Hoboken. February 25th, I'm having an album release party. It's like gonna be an industry mixer.
Okay.
Like some names gonna be there, whatever. So yeah, if y'all around, come through.
Cool.
Follow me on Instagram, JAH-MONTE OGBON. I'll send it to y'all. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have drinks, play the album, the vinyl, and yeah. And I'm taking the easy way out real soon. Just to say that.
I mean, that's real. But
yeah.
we have everybody's Instagrams up here.
Yeah, follow me on the gram for real.
Right.
My YouTube too. I'm trying to get to 2K on YouTube.
Yeah. And also, so this is the first in a series of conversations that we're going to be having. So follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Decipher Notes. It's with a Y instead of an I. And yeah, just to stay in the loop, we're going to have 2 more conversations by the time the semester ends. So cool. And we're going to close out with.
What are we closing out with?
Thank you, Zuri, by the way. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
putting this together.
Yeah. Of course.
It's so kind to us. Providence is cool. I thought like Charlotte's kind of mean sometimes, and everyone here is.
Providence is straight.
Yeah, they're nice enough. Some people are a little bit. Nice enough, right? Yeah.
So this is part 2 of Niggas is Washed Up and Doing Bad. But
It's my YouTube too. Y'all don't front.
Like and subscribe.
But low-key, you
I'm at
like and subscribe.
1.95. Like,
But like low-key,
right, I'm almost there.
low-key, you ain't following back on Instagram.
Chuck a like up.
My bad. No, I got you on the gram.
Okay, I don't think on the Twitter either, but you know, it's whatever. It's
I
whatever.
got you.
I've been waiting. Every time I get a new follow, I'm like, oh, it's him. No.
I got you.
Check them.
This nigga crazy. I feel like I got heat. I got better videos. Can we play something else? Or which one?
What you want to play?
Can we play? Hold on, pause this.
What you want to play?
I got heat. Play.
What you want?
Play. Perfume Smell.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah. Is that what that song called, bro? Perfume Smells. I got heat. I got heat. That's not what it's called. Go down. No, that's the video though. Go down. Do me if go to watch. Nah, play this. Yeah. I'm sorry, bro. I can't take that to heart. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I got heat though.
Nah, it's cool. Can we turn it up? Thank you.
You belong to desperate. You pop an iPhone and you break you for help, but you need loans and investors. She need loans for this semester when I tap my phone as suggested. I can help lecture if not you with the wealthy. Labels reaching out, but how can you help a G without milking me? She said I felt welcoming, then welcome me, but now she's trembling. Remember when she got the big hand on the shit again, we reassembling. But guess you don't step out of character, we gon' react every time like a gentleman. Me, wanna perform in the spectrum arena before I'm hit with a subpoena. Step on it like a prima ballerina, go play with your Constantine. You couldn't wait to spill the beans on some behind the scenes. Respect for young niggas get money, but we from the 90s king. Don't say the word, show me what X is, buy me a diamond ring. You told me she a side of the scene and whisper sexy things. Fuck with us, you gon' skip the way, cause we the missing link. Yes, that one. Woo.
I just look good in New York. Like, it's Jesus.
Was this in the summer? This is in the summer?
I believe so.
Yeah.
We was in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Copping fake everything. Come on, man. This shit deep. Look at Mans. Hold on. Look at Mans with the Charlotte on the back end shirt.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah.
It's time, man.
Right. How did that happen with you and when you and Navy Blue? How did that work out?
Yo, shouts out Navy Blue. Navy Blue hit me one day and was like, yo, I want to send you some beats. And he was like, yo, you live in New York? Because niggas think I live in New York. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, niggas think I live out there. So he's like, yo, you stay in New York? I want to give you some beats. I'm like, I don't live in New York, but I can be there tomorrow. And he like, yo, come through. When I went to his crib, Akai was in there. You know Akai? Akai was in there getting the beats for his Navy Blue album. Man, Akai was just in there. And I was just talking to him, and he told me, like, yo, I seen your freestyle on Top Shelf.
Okay.
He was like, I called Uncle John to make sure to ask his opinion of you, and it was good. And when I went to his house, he just had all the beats. He was like, pick something. He was playing so much stuff, like stuff he made for Earl, stuff he made for Mock.
Okay.
And we were just talking, like one thing he told me was don't let a European label release the vinyl. That's why the record for it didn't come out until most recently. But he was a cool dude. We were just talking about music and what I wanted to do with my music. And he was just like, yo, I got you. Like, I see what you're doing, and I got you. I'm rocking with what you're doing, and I'm gonna make sure we get you there. And I made this album like in a small amount of time. Cause I really wanted to sit on it and think, but the bar was rolling. So.
Yeah, it's a beautiful project.
Yeah,
it's a very beautiful project.
I feel like I rushed it a little, but the way it was received because Navy kind of like was behind it, and with Navy being behind it, Earl was behind it in a way. So once Earl shared it, it just a lot of people just gravitated to my stuff. And I was like, all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I did it. So. Yeah, Navy Blue was cool, man. He took me to the next level.
Yeah.
So, that's that one right there. The Missing Link and the Sneaky Link. There's a part, it's like a second half of that song called The Sneaky Link.
Cool. Well, did you turn it back down?
I can.
Can you turn it back down?
Shout out to the sound man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank y'all both.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, this is also thank you to our partners, the Center for the Study of Slavery and Justice, my professor, Professor LK, if you're watching this, thank you. And yeah, so just be on the lookout. And thank you all for coming. And I hope you have a blessed rest of your day.
Thank you everybody for coming out.
Thank you guys so much.